She's standing in a white dress that doesn't fit, watching the alpha she loves choose someone else. In front of everyone. But that's not the worst part. He doesn't just reject her, he humiliates her. Calls her worthless. Omega trash. The pack laughs. And then, something inside her snaps. Her wolf that has been silent her entire life finally wakes up. And she is massive. Ancient. Furious. The alpha who rejected her. He just made the biggest mistake of his life. Because the girl he thought was weak? She's about to become the most powerful wolf in the territory. Hello, my beautiful pack. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here with me today because oh my goodness, do I have a story for you. Before we dive in, tell me, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments. And how are you doing today? I hope you're cozy, maybe with some tea or coffee, because you're going to want to settle in for this one. Quick question, have you subscribed yet? No? Oh, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button right now because we've got so many more shifter romance stories coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss a single one. Go ahead, I'll wait. Perfect. You're officially part of the pack now. Now, let's get into this story. It's intense. It's emotional. And it's going to leave you absolutely breathless. The silver moon hangs full and merciless over the ceremonial grounds, and Liora can barely breathe. Her hands tremble as she smooths down the white ceremonial dress, threadbare at the hem, borrowed from a cousin who'd worn it 3 times already. It doesn't fit right. The bodice gapes slightly, and the fabric is too thin for the autumn chill biting through the forest clearing. But it's all she has. All she's ever had. Around her, the pack gathers in a circle of torchlight and anticipation. Laughter ripples through the crowd, rich, easy laughter from wolves who've never known hunger, never scrubbed floors until their hands bled, never been called runt or worthless or mistake. Liora keeps her eyes down. She's learned that's safest. But tonight is different. Tonight, everything changes. Because standing at the center of the ceremonial stone circle, beneath the ancient oak where every mating bond in the Shadowpine pack has been forged for 300 years, is him. Alpha Dane Thornridge. Tall. Broad-shouldered. Devastatingly handsome in the way that makes her chest ache. His dark hair catches the moonlight, and his gray eyes, wolf eyes even in human form, scan the crowd with the easy confidence of someone who's never doubted his place in the world. He's going to choose her. He has to. For 3 months, he's been different with her. Softer. He sought her out in the kitchens where she worked, asked her questions about her day, touched her hand when no one was looking. 2 weeks ago, he'd kissed her behind the storage shed, tasted like pine and promise, and whispered, soon. She'd believed him. The pack elder, Moira, raises her gnarled hands to the moon. Brothers and sisters of Shadowpine, we gather under the goddess's light to witness the sacred bond. Alpha Dane Thornridge will claim his mate tonight, solidifying his right to lead our pack into the future. Liora's heart hammers so hard she thinks everyone must hear it. 3 potential mates step forward, daughters of the pack's wealthiest families, draped in silk and silver, their wolves strong and their bloodlines pure. Sarah Blackwood. Mira Stoneclaw. Astrid Nightshade. They don't even glance at Liora. Why would they? She's invisible. Always has been. But that's about to change. Dane promised. Elder Moira's voice cuts through the night. Alpha Dane, who do you claim under the moon's witness? The clearing falls silent. Dane's eyes sweep across the 3 candidates. Then, slowly, impossibly, they move past them. To her. Liora's breath catches. Heat floods her cheeks. This is it. This is the moment her entire miserable life has been building toward. I claim my mate, Dane says, his voice carrying across the clearing with absolute authority. Yes. Yes. Sarah Blackwood. The world tilts. For a moment, Liora thinks she misheard. The name can't be right. It can't. But Sarah is already moving forward, her beautiful face lit with triumph, her silk dress shimmering like water under moonlight. She takes Dane's offered hand, and he pulls her close, and the pack erupts in celebration. Liora stands frozen, the white dress suddenly feeling like a shroud. No. No, there's been a mistake. He's confused. Dane's eyes find hers across the crowd. And he smiles. Not warmly. Not apologetically. Coldly. Like she's a joke whose punchline just landed. Wait. Leora's voice comes out broken, barely a whisper. But she forces herself forward, her legs shaking. Alpha Dane, we. The crowd notices her now. Oh, they notice. Whispers slither through the gathering like serpents. Is that the Omega? What is she doing? Someone should stop her before she embarrasses herself further. Dane releases Sarah's hand and turns to face Liora fully. His expression is ice and contempt. Is there something you need, Omega Liora? The formal title feels like a slap. He's never called her that before. You said. Her voice cracks. You told me. I told you what you wanted to hear, Dane says, loud enough for everyone to witness. Did you actually believe an alpha would mate with you? A weak, wolfless Omega with no family, no status, no worth? The laughter starts, cruel and sharp. Wolfless. The word burns through her like acid. It's true. At 23, Liora has never shifted. Never heard her wolf's voice. The pack assumes she simply doesn't have one, that she's defective, broken, cursed. You used me, Liora whispers, the truth of it crushing her lungs. All those weeks. I was bored, Dane says with a shrug. You were, available. And pathetically grateful for any scrap of attention. He steps closer, his voice dropping to a cruel whisper only she can hear. Did you really think you were special, Liora? You're nothing. You've always been nothing. Then louder, for the pack, I, Alpha Dane Thornridge, formally reject Liora Ashwood as any mate of mine, now and forever. The rejection bond slams into her like a physical blow. Pain explodes through her chest, white-hot, searing, wrong. It feels like her soul is being torn in half, like every cell in her body is screaming in protest. She gasps, stumbles, falls to her knees on the cold ground. The pack watches. Some laugh. Some whisper. None help. Sarah leans into Dane's side, her lips curving in satisfaction. Poor thing. She actually thought. But Liora doesn't hear the rest. Because something is happening inside her. Something is waking. The pain of the rejection doesn't fade. It intensifies, yes, but beneath it, there's something else. Something ancient and vast and absolutely furious. A voice, not her own, but somehow utterly familiar, rumbles through her consciousness like thunder. He dares. Leora's eyes snap open. They're glowing. Pure, molten gold. The laughter dies. The whispers stop. The entire clearing goes deathly silent. Liora? Elder Moira's voice holds a note of fear. Your eyes. Power floods through Leora's veins like liquid fire. Her skin burns. Her bones ache with the pressure of something too large, too powerful trying to break free. And the voice, her wolf, speaks again. You let them hurt us. No more. Never again. Now, we rise. Liora throws her head back and screams. But it's not a human sound. It's a howl. And when the shift takes her, violent, agonizing, glorious, the pack scatters in terror. Because the wolf that emerges from the shredded white dress isn't small or weak or broken. She's massive. Easily twice the size of Dane's alpha form. Her fur is midnight black with streaks of silver that shimmer like starlight. Her eyes burn with ancient gold fire. And when she snarls, the sound shakes the very ground beneath them. Dane stumbles backward, his face draining of color. That's impossible. The black wolf, Liora, but not Liora, locks eyes with the male who rejected her. And she shows him her teeth. Let's see who's worthless now. The massive black wolf stands in the center of the ceremonial grounds, her chest heaving, silver-streaked fur rippling with barely contained power. Inside, Leora's mind reels. What is happening? What am I? The wolf's voice answers, steady and ancient, you are what you were always meant to be. What they tried to suppress. What they feared. Who are you? I am you. I am Nyx. I have always been here, locked away by the curse they placed on your bloodline. But his rejection, it broke the chains. Liora, or Nyx, or whoever she is now, becomes aware of the silence pressing down on the clearing. Every wolf present has frozen. Even the alphas and betas, the strongest of the pack, stand motionless, their eyes wide with something Liora has never seen directed at her before. Fear. Elder Moira steps forward, her weathered face pale in the moonlight. Her voice shakes. Impossible. The Ashwood line was stripped of their wolves generations ago. The goddess herself cursed them for their betrayal. Betrayal? Leora's human consciousness flares with confusion. What betrayal? Nyx growls low, a sound that makes several pack members stumble backward. Lies. All lies. Your grandmother was the rightful alpha of this pack. They murdered her and took everything. Then they cursed her descendants so no Ashwood would ever rise again. The revelation crashes through Liora like thunder. Her grandmother, the woman she'd never known, the history no one ever spoke about. She'd always been told her family was omega trash, that they deserved their low status, that her mother's death from exhaustion in the pack kitchens was simply the fate of the weak. All lies. Dane recovers first, his alpha arrogance reasserting itself despite the tremor in his hands. This changes nothing. Curse or no curse, you're still an omega. Still worthless. Your wolf is large, I'll grant you that, but size means nothing without training, without control, without. Nyx moves. One moment she's standing 15 feet away. The next, she's in front of Dane, her massive jaws inches from his throat, moving faster than any wolf present has ever seen. Dane's words die in his throat. Dane. Sarah shrieks, but she doesn't move to help him. None of them do. We could end him, Nyx whispers in Leora's mind. One bite. Justice for the humiliation, for the lies, for everything they've stolen. Liora feels the temptation. The rage burning through her veins begs for release, for vengeance, for blood. But beneath the fury, there's something else. A memory. She's 7 years old, hiding in the kitchen pantry, listening to her mother's labored breathing after a disciplinary session from the pack beta. Her mother's whispered words, "Don't let them make you cruel, little star. Don't let them turn your heart to stone. That's how they win." No, Liora thinks firmly. We're not like them. We won't be. Nyx pauses, considers, then slowly backs away from Dane. But not before letting her teeth graze his throat, just enough to draw a thin line of blood. The message is clear, I could have. I chose not to. Dane collapses to his knees the moment she releases him, his hand flying to his throat. His eyes, when they meet hers, hold a new emotion. Terror. You should run, Elder Moira says quietly, her voice carrying across the silent clearing. She's looking at Liora with something that might be remorse. Child, you should run far from here and never return. Why would we run? Nyx snarls. But Moira continues, her ancient eyes sad. Because by tomorrow, every pack within 3 territories will know about you. They'll know an Ashwood wolf has awakened. And they'll come. She glances at Dane with disgust. The treaty your grandmother signed before her death, the one that ended the pack wars, it stated that if any Ashwood wolf ever emerged, they would be hunted down and executed. To prevent another challenge for pack leadership. Ice floods Leora's veins. You knew. All of you knew what was done to my family. We were there, Moira admits, her voice breaking. I was young, barely 20, but I was there when they killed Alara Ashwood. When they cursed her daughter, your mother. When they condemned your entire bloodline to powerlessness. A tear slides down her weathered cheek. I've carried the shame every day since. Around the clearing, some of the older pack members won't meet Leora's eyes. They knew. They all knew. Sarah finds her voice, shrill and panicked. Someone call the council. Call the other alphas. This abomination needs to be. Shut up, Sarah. The voice comes from an unexpected source. Marcus Ironwood, Dane's beta and closest friend, steps forward. He's a huge man, built like a mountain, with scars crossing his face from a bear attack years ago. He's never been kind to Liora, but he's never been cruel either. Simply indifferent. Now, he studies her with something like respect. The girl, Liora, has been nothing but loyal to this pack her entire life, Marcus says slowly. She's worked harder than anyone, asked for nothing, caused no trouble. And how do we repay her? He looks at Dane with clear disgust. Our Alpha plays with her heart like a toy, publicly humiliates her, and rejects her in the cruelest way possible. He turns back to Liora. If her wolf responded with rage, can anyone here truly say it wasn't justified? A murmur runs through the crowd. Some nod. Others look uncertain. Dane lurches to his feet, blood still trickling from his throat. Marcus, you can't seriously be. I'm saying that maybe the curse on the Ashwoods was wrong, Marcus interrupts. And maybe it's time we faced what our pack did all those years ago. Traitor, Sarah hisses. But others are stepping forward now. A young mother, Kira, who Liora once helped when her pup was sick. An elderly wolf, Thomas, whose grandson Liora tutored in reading. A teenage girl, Bryn, who Liora had defended from bullies. Small kindnesses, forgotten moments, coming back now. She saved my son, Kira says firmly. She showed my family compassion when no one else would, Thomas adds. One by one, a fraction of the pack, maybe 20 wolves out of nearly 200, moves to stand between Liora and Dane. It's not many. But it's something. Nyx's voice is softer now. You showed them kindness even when they gave you nothing. Some remembered. Leora's heart aches with a complicated tangle of emotions, gratitude, grief, rage, hope. Dane's face twists with fury. This is pack law. The treaty must be honored. By dawn, I'll have every alpha in the region hunting her down. Marcus meets Leora's glowing golden eyes. Then you'd better run fast, girl. And when you're strong enough. He smiles grimly. Come back and take what's yours. Liora runs. Her massive paws thunder against the forest floor, silver-streaked black fur streaming behind her like shadows given form. Trees blur past in the darkness, branches whipping at her sides, but she barely feels them. Nyx drives her forward with relentless urgency. Faster. They'll send trackers by dawn. Behind them, the Shadow Pine territory fades into the distance. The ceremonial grounds, the only home Liora has ever known, disappears like smoke. Where are we going? Leora's human thoughts struggle to keep pace with her wolf's instincts. North. To the Frost Ridge Mountains. There are places there even the pack councils fear to tread. Liora wants to argue, wants to stop and think and process everything that just exploded her world apart. But Nyx is right. Stopping means death. So she runs. Hours pass. The forest changes around her, the familiar pines giving way to older growth, thicker undergrowth, terrain that feels wild in a way the pack territories never do. This is land that belongs to no one, where the goddess's power runs untamed. Finally, as the first hint of dawn bleeds gray across the horizon, Nyx slows. They've reached a ravine, a deep scar in the earth where a river carved through stone over countless centuries. On the far side, a cave mouth yawns dark and secret, hidden behind a curtain of falling water. There. We rest. The shift back to human form hits Liora without warning. One moment she's wolf, the next she's collapsing naked on cold stone, her body screaming in protest. Every muscle burns. Her skin feels too tight. She gasps for air, shaking violently. What just? She manages between chattering teeth. First shift is always brutal, Nyx's voice echoes in her mind, gentler now. It will get easier. You need to rest. But rest is impossible. Because standing at the entrance to the cave, backlit by the rising sun, is a figure. A man. Liora scrambles backward, trying to cover herself, her heart hammering. How did she not smell him? How did Nyx not sense? Peace, the stranger says, his voice like gravel and honey mixed together. I'm not here to hurt you. He steps into the cave, and Liora gets her first clear look at him. He's perhaps 30, tall and lean with the kind of strength that comes from surviving rather than training. His hair is dark auburn, pulled back in a rough tie, and his eyes. Goddess, his eyes are the color of amber, warm and ancient and knowing. Scars trace patterns across his bare arms, deliberate marks that tell stories she can't read. He's holding a bundle of clothes. I figured you'd need these, he says, tossing them to her. The woods talk, you know. Word travels fast when a wolf the size of a young bear tears through the boundary markers. Liora snatches the clothes, a simple tunic and leggings, and quickly pulls them on. They're too big but clean and warm. Who are you? Name's Cade. He settles himself against the cave wall, deliberately non-threatening. I'm what you might call a survivor. Been living out here in the unclaimed lands for about 5 years now. You're a rogue. Liora's voice comes out sharper than intended. Rogues are wolves without packs, without law, without honor. Dangerous and unpredictable. Cade's smile is bitter. That's what they call us, yes. Though I prefer free. His amber eyes study her with uncomfortable intensity. You're Ashwood, aren't you? I heard the stories about what happened to your bloodline. Didn't think any of you would ever shift. How do you know about? Liora stops. You were Shadowpine. Once. A long time ago. He pulls out a canteen and offers it to her. I was there the night they killed Alara Ashwood. I was just a kid, but I remember. My father was one of the wolves who helped murder her. Liora takes the canteen with shaking hands. The water is cold and clean, and she drinks deeply. Why are you helping me? Because what they did was wrong. Cade's voice goes hard. And because 5 years ago, when I spoke up about other wrongs the pack was committing, they tried to execute me too. I ran. Been running ever since. He tilts his head, studying her. But you're different. You didn't just run. You awakened. Do you have any idea how powerful you are? I don't feel powerful, Liora whispers. I feel terrified. Good. Fear will keep you alive. Cade leans forward, his expression serious. Listen to me, Ashwood. By now, Dane will have sent word to every pack council within 5 territories. The bounty on your head will be astronomical. Every tracker, every hunter, every ambitious wolf looking to make a name for themselves will be coming for you. The words sink into Liora's gut like stones. So what do I do? You have 3 choices. Cade holds up a scarred finger. 1. Keep running. Live like me, always moving, always hiding, never staying anywhere long enough to call it home. A second finger. 2. Try to find sanctuary with one of the neutral packs, the ones that don't honor the old treaties. Beg for protection. A third finger. 3. You get stronger. You learn to fight. And you go back and take what they stole from your family. Liora stares at him. That's insane. I'm one wolf against an entire pack structure. You're not just one wolf. Cade's amber eyes gleam. You're an Ashwood. Your grandmother nearly united all the packs under one banner before they killed her. The power in your blood doesn't just make you strong, Liora. It makes you a threat to every corrupt alpha who's built their throne on lies. Before Liora can respond, Nyx's voice erupts in her mind. He's right. We are not meant to hide. I don't know how to fight, Liora says weakly. Cade's smile is sharp. Then it's lucky you found someone who does. He stands, offering his hand. I've spent 5 years out here learning every dirty trick, every forbidden technique, every secret the packs don't want anyone to know. I can teach you. Why would you do that? Because I'm tired of running too. His expression darkens. And because Dane Thornridge and his corrupted council deserve to face justice. I tried to expose them once and failed. Maybe you're my second chance. Liora looks at his outstretched hand. Behind her, through the cave entrance, she can hear distant howls. The hunters are already on her trail. She thinks of Dane's cruel smile. Sarah's satisfied smirk. The pack that watched her humiliation like entertainment. She thinks of her mother, worked to death. Her grandmother, murdered for trying to change things. She thinks of Marcus and Kira and the few who stood for her, who showed that not everyone in Shadowpine was lost. Nyx growls approvingly, choose, sister. Choose our path. Liora reaches out and grasps Cade's hand. Teach me, she says, and her voice doesn't shake. Teach me everything. Cade's grin is fierce and wild. Oh, this is going to be fun. 3 weeks in the wilderness changes everything. Liora wakes before dawn, her body aching in new places every day. The cave behind the waterfall has become a strange kind of home, cold, damp, but safe. Cade teaches her to mask her scent using crushed herbs and mountain clay. He shows her how to move through the forest without leaving tracks, how to hunt without alerting prey, how to listen to the wind for warnings. But mostly, he teaches her to fight. Again, Cade barks, circling her in his wolf form. Liora, also shifted, lunges. She's faster now, more controlled. But Cade is experienced and cunning. He sidesteps, uses her momentum against her, and sends her tumbling into the dirt. He's toying with us, Nick snarls. Then let's stop being predictable. This time when Liora attacks, she feints left, then pivots right at the last second. Her jaw's close on Cade's hind leg, not hard enough to injure, but enough to prove the point. He shifts back to human, laughing and rubbing his leg. Better. You're learning to think like a fighter instead of prey. Liora shifts too, breathing hard. The transformations come easier now, almost natural. I'm still too slow. You're faster than 90% of the wolves I've known. Cade tosses her a water skin. Your problem isn't speed, Ashwood. It's confidence. You still fight like you expect to lose. The observation stings because it's true. 23 years of being told she's worthless doesn't wash away in 3 weeks. Tell me about my grandmother, Liora says suddenly. You said you were there. What was she really like? Cade's expression shifts, becomes distant. Alara Ashwood was magnificent. She wasn't the biggest wolf or the strongest fighter, but when she spoke, people listened. She had this vision of uniting the packs, ending the constant territorial wars, creating actual peace. He sits down on a fallen log. My father hated her for it. Said she was trying to destroy tradition, weaken the strong. He was one of the wolves who poisoned her during the peace summit. They poisoned her? Liora's voice goes cold. Wolfsbane mixed with her wine. Made her too weak to shift, to defend herself. Cade's hands clench into fists. Then they blamed rogues for her death, used it as an excuse to tighten their control. And they cursed her bloodline with a binding ritual, dark magic that suppressed the Ashwood wolves for generations. He looks at Liora intently. But you broke it. The rejection bond, the trauma, the rage, somehow it shattered the curse. Not somehow, Nyx interjects in Liora's mind. The curse was bound by specific conditions. It could only be broken by an Ashwood who suffered the ultimate rejection from an alpha and survived. You, little sister, are the key they never anticipated. Before Liora can process this, a howl echoes through the mountains. Close. Too close. Cade is on his feet instantly, his body tense. Trackers. They found our trail. How many? He sensed the air, his expression darkening. 4, maybe 5. All experienced hunters. He looks at her. This is it, Liora. Your first real test. We can run, or we can fight. Liora's heart hammers, but beneath the fear, something else rises. Anger. She's tired of running. We fight. Cade's grin is fierce. There's the Ashwood fire. Alright, listen carefully. They'll try to separate us, use pack tactics to overwhelm. Don't let them. Stay close, watch each other's backs, and remember, you're bigger and stronger than they expect. Use it. The hunters emerge from the tree line 5 minutes later. Liora recognizes 2 of them, Garrett, a beta tracker known for his brutality, and Vance, a young wolf eager to prove himself. The other 3 are unfamiliar, probably mercenaries hired from other packs. Garrett shifts to human form, confident and smirking. Well. The lost Ashwood Omega. You've led us on quite a chase, girl. His eyes slide to Cade. And you picked up a rogue. How touching. Leave now, Liora says, surprised by the steadiness in her voice. I don't want to hurt you. Garrett laughs, and the other hunters join in. You don't want to hurt us? Sweet goddess, you're more delusional than we thought. He cracks his knuckles. We're bringing you back to Shadowpine, girl. Dane's offering a fortune for your head. Whether you come dead or alive is entirely up to you. Vance shifts nervously. Garrett, maybe we should. I mean, look at the size of her wolf. She's untrained and scared, Garrett snaps. Size means nothing without skill. Cade steps forward, his voice low and dangerous. You're making a mistake. The only mistake was letting scum like you live when we should have finished the job 5 years ago, Ironwood. Everything happens at once. Garrett signals, and the hunters attack in coordinated formation. 2 flank left, 2 right, 1 straight down the middle. It's textbook pack tactics, designed to overwhelm and confuse. But Cade taught Liora this pattern just yesterday. She shifts mid-leap, her massive black wolf form exploding into being. The hunter coming straight at her doesn't expect her speed. She catches him mid-air, her jaws closing around his shoulder, not crushing, but immobilizing. She slams him into the ground and he stays down, whimpering. 1. Cade takes the 2 on the right, his smaller russet wolf form darting between them with practiced ease. He's not trying to win, just to keep them busy. That leaves Garrett and Vance. Garrett shifts, revealing a large gray wolf with battle scars crossing his muzzle. He's experienced, dangerous, and he doesn't underestimate her twice. He lunges for her throat. Liora remembers Cade's training, use your size. Make them come to you, then make them regret it. She doesn't dodge. Instead, she drops low, lets Garrett's momentum carry him over her, then surges upward. Her shoulder catches him in the ribs, and the impact sends him flying into a tree trunk. The crack of bone echoes through the clearing. Garrett shifts back to human, clutching his side, his face twisted in pain and shock. Vance takes one look at Garrett, at his unconscious companion, at Leora's glowing golden eyes, and he runs. Smart wolf. The remaining 2 hunters, seeing their leader down and their numbers halved, quickly disengage from Cade and flee after Vance. Silence falls over the clearing. Liora shifts back, her chest heaving. She's trembling, but not from fear this time. From adrenaline. From the realization that she just fought off 5 trained hunters and won. Cade limps over, a gash on his shoulder bleeding but not serious. Not bad, Ashwood. Not bad at all. Garrett groans, trying to crawl away. Cade plants a foot on his back, keeping him pinned. Now then, let's talk about who sent you and what they're planning. Go to the abyss, Garrett spits. Liora kneels beside him, and when he looks into her eyes, he flinches. Tell us what Dane is planning, and I let you go with just broken ribs. Stay silent, and I let my wolf decide your fate. I like this new you, Nyx purrs approvingly. Garrett's resistance crumbles. Fine. Fine. Dane's called a council meeting in 2 days. All 5 territory alphas. They're forming a coalition specifically to hunt you down. He's convinced them you're planning to challenge for Shadowpine leadership, that you'll start a war. 2 days, Cade mutters. That's not much time. Leora's mind races. A coalition of 5 alphas, all their resources focused on killing her. It's a death sentence. Unless. Where's the meeting, she asks. Garrett laughs bitterly. You can't be serious. You want to walk into a council meeting? That's suicide. Where is the meeting? Silvermoon Hall. Neutral territory on the Shadowpine border. He coughs, blood flecking his lips. You go there, you won't walk out alive. Liora stands, looks at Cade. Then I don't walk in. I make an entrance they won't forget. Cade's amber eyes widen. You want to crash an Alpha Council meeting. I want to tell them the truth about what Dane did. About what the Pax did to my family. I'm tired of running, Cade. Her voice strengthens with each word. If they want to hunt me, fine. But they're going to hear my story first. For a long moment, Cade just stares at her. Then he throws his head back and laughs. Goddess help me, you really are Alara's granddaughter. He sobers, becomes serious. This is incredibly dangerous, Liora. If it goes wrong, then I die fighting instead of hiding. She meets his eyes. I need to know, will you stand with me? Cade's smile is answer enough. Until the end, Ashwood. Until the end. Silvermoon Hall rises from the forest like a monument to old power, stone and timber, ancient and imposing, built on ground that belongs to no pack but serves all of them. Neutral territory, where treaties are signed and disputes settled under the goddess's watchful eye. Tonight, it's a trap. Liora crouches in the shadows of the surrounding trees, her heart hammering against her ribs. Through the tall windows, she can see them, 5 alphas seated around a massive circular table, their betas standing behind them like sentinels. Dane sits at the head, looking confident and composed. No sign of the fear she saw in his eyes 3 weeks ago. "You're sure about this?" Cade whispers beside her. He's dressed in dark clothing, a hood obscuring his features. "Once we walk in there, there's no walking out unless they allow it." "I know." Liora adjusts the cloak she's wearing, simple gray wool that hides her frame. Underneath, she's learned to keep her wolf close to the surface, ready to shift in a heartbeat. "But I need them to hear the truth. All of them." "They won't want to listen," Nyx warns. "Alphas hate having their authority questioned." "Then we make them listen." Cade pulls out a small vial from his pocket, filled with dark powder. Wolfsbane mixed with silver dust. "If things go bad, throw this at the ground between you and them. It'll create a barrier that'll give us maybe 30 seconds to escape." Liora takes the vial, tucks it into her belt. "Thank you. For everything. Don't thank me yet. We might both be dead in an hour." But he's smiling, that reckless grin she's come to recognize. "Ready?" "No. But let's do it anyway." They move through the shadows, approaching the Great Hall's entrance. 2 guards stand at the doors, burly wolves who tense as Liora and Cade approach. "Halt," one growls. "This is a closed council meeting." No one enters. Liora throws back her hood. Recognition flashes across both guards' faces. Shock. Fear. One reaches for the horn at his belt to sound an alarm. Liora shifts. The transformation is instant, fluid, powerful. Her massive black wolf form towers over the guards, and before they can react, she's past them, shouldering through the heavy wooden doors with enough force to splinter the frame. The doors crash open. 5 alphas leap to their feet, chairs scraping, hands going to weapons. Betas surge forward, forming protective walls around their leaders. And Liora shifts back to human, standing in the center of the hall, breathing hard but steady. "Good evening, alphas," she says. "I believe you've been looking for me." The silence is deafening. Dane recovers first, his face twisting with rage. "Seize her. Guards, take her now." But before anyone can move, Cade steps through the broken doorway, crossbow raised and aimed directly at Dane's chest. "I wouldn't." Silver-tipped bolts. At this range, even an alpha doesn't heal fast enough. The guards freeze. Alpha Reese Blackthorn of the Northern Territory, a massive man with iron-gray hair, raises a hand. "Hold." His pale blue eyes study Liora with intense curiosity. "Let her speak. I want to hear what the last Ashwood has to say." "This is a violation of sacred neutral ground," Dane snarls. "She has no right." "Neither did you when you murdered Alara Ashwood on sacred ground 23 years ago," Cade calls out. "But you did it anyway." A ripple of shock runs through the room. Alpha Mira Stonecrest of the Western Territory, a sharp-featured woman with calculating eyes, leans forward. "That's a serious accusation, rogue." "It's the truth," Liora says, finding her voice. "And I have proof." She reaches into her cloak, slowly, and pulls out a folded piece of aged leather. Every weapon in the room tracks her movement, but no one stops her. Cade helped her find it a week ago, hidden in a cache his father had kept, Alara's personal journal, preserved and damning. Liora tosses it onto the council table. Alpha Reese picks it up, unfolds it carefully. His expression darkens as he reads. He passes it to Mira, who reads and goes pale. One by one, the alphas examine the evidence. Alara's own handwriting. Names of conspirators. Details of the poisoning plot. The illegal binding curse placed on her bloodline. Dane's name, prominent among the guilty. This proves nothing, Dane says, but his voice has lost its certainty. These could be forgeries. My father's name is in there too, Cade says quietly. Along with 12 other wolves from Shadowpine, including your father, Dane. I watched them celebrate after they killed her. I was 9 years old, and I watched them drink to murdering a peacemaker. Alpha Kian Wolfhard of the Southern Territory, a younger man with kind eyes, looks sick. If this is true. Goddess, if this is true, we've been honoring a treaty built on murder. It's not just murder, Liora says, her voice growing stronger. They cursed my entire bloodline. Condemned generations of Ashwoods to live as Omegas, powerless and broken, all to hide what they'd done. My mother worked herself to death in Shadowpine's kitchens. My grandmother was erased from history. All because they wanted power and feared change. Myra's eyes narrow. Yet here you stand. Shifted. Powerful. How? The curse had a condition they didn't anticipate, Liora says, glancing at Dane. It could only be broken by an Ashwood who suffered the ultimate rejection from an Alpha and survived the trauma. 3 weeks ago, Alpha Dane Thornridge publicly rejected me as his mate after months of manipulation and lies. Her voice doesn't shake. He meant to destroy me. Instead, he freed me. Dane's face has gone white. The fifth Alpha, Magnus Ironfang of the Eastern Territory, an ancient wolf with scars covering half his face, speaks for the first time. His voice is like grinding stone. Show us your wolf. It's not a request. Liora shifts. Gasps echo through the hall. Even the Alphas, who've seen countless wolves in their lifetimes, stare in awe at her size, her silver-streaked midnight fur, her burning gold eyes. Let them see, Nyx growls. Let them understand what they tried to destroy. Magnus nods slowly. I knew Alara Ashwood. Fought beside her in the territory wars 40 years ago. I see her in you, child. The same fire. The same strength. He turns to Dane with disgust. You are a disgrace to the title of Alpha. This is absurd. Dane slams his hand on the table. She's a criminal. An Omega who attacked pack members, fled justice, consorts with rogues. She needs to be executed according to the treaty. A treaty signed under false pretenses, Reese says coldly. Based on lies and murder. The treaty stands, Dane insists desperately. Regardless of how it began, it's been law for 23 years. We can't just. Actually, we can, Mira interrupts. She's studying Liora with new calculation. If the treaty was signed in bad faith, any Alpha has the right to void their participation. She looks around the table. I vote to dissolve the Ashwood Accords. All in favor? Reese's hand goes up immediately. Then Kian's. Magnus nods his assent. 4 Alphas against 1. Dane's world is crumbling, and everyone can see it. Furthermore, Mira continues, I move that Liora Ashwood be granted formal recognition as a free wolf, with all rights and protections that entails. Including the right to challenge for pack leadership. The words hang in the air like thunder. Challenge for leadership. Leora's heart stops. She hadn't even considered, but Myra's eyes gleam with political calculation. This isn't about justice. This is about destabilizing Dane, about creating an opportunity. You can't be serious, Dane breathes. She's untrained, inexperienced, she has bloodline right, Magnus rumbles. Her grandmother was Alpha before you stole the title. Under ancient law, any direct descendant can issue challenge. Liora shifts back to human, her mind racing. This is spiraling beyond what she planned. She came here to tell the truth, to stop the hunting coalition. Not to challenge for an entire pack. But why not? Nyx's voice is fierce. They stole everything from our family. Take it back. Take it all back. Leora's voice cracks. She looks at the Alphas, at Dane's terrified face, at Cade's encouraging nod from the doorway. Then she thinks of Marcus, Kira, Thomas, and the others who stood for her. The good wolves trapped under Dane's corrupt leadership. She thinks of her mother's worn hands. Her grandmother's stolen legacy. She straightens her spine. I, Liora Ashwood, formally challenge Dane Thornridge for leadership of the Shadowpine Pack. The words come out clear and strong. Dane's face goes from white to red. You'll die. Challenge combat is to the death, and I've been training since I was 5 years old. You've been a wolf for 3 weeks. Then you should have an easy victory, Liora says calmly. Unless you're afraid. The trap closes. Dane can't refuse without looking weak in front of the other alphas. His pride won't allow it. Fine, he snarls. 3 days from now. The traditional challenge grounds. I'll tear you apart and end the Ashwood line forever. Rhys stands. It's settled then. 3 days. Witnessed by all 5 territories. He looks at Liora with something like respect. Prepare yourself, young Ashwood. You've just declared war. As the alphas file out, Kate appears at Leora's side. That was either the bravest or stupidest thing I've ever seen. Probably both, Liora admits, her legs suddenly shaking. Cade, what did I just do? You gave yourself a chance to change everything, he says quietly. Now we just have to make sure you survive long enough to see it through. 2 days until the challenge, and Liora can't sleep. She lies in the cave behind the waterfall, staring at the stone ceiling, her body exhausted but her mind racing with fear. Every time she closes her eyes, she sees Dane's wolf, larger than any normal wolf, battle-scarred, vicious. She sees herself broken and bleeding on the challenge grounds. Stop it, Nyx growls. Fear will kill us faster than his teeth. I've been a wolf for 3 weeks. He's been training his entire life. This is suicide. Then we make those 3 weeks count. Beside her, Cade sits sharpening a knife, the rhythmic scraping sound oddly soothing. He hasn't left her side since they escaped Silvermoon Hall, hasn't complained about the impossible task ahead. Can't sleep? He asks without looking up. Would you be able to? He chuckles darkly. Fair point. He sets the knife aside, turns to face her. Want to know a secret? I'm terrified too. Liora sits up. You? You fought off those hunters like it was nothing. Hunters aren't alphas. Dane is, he's brutal, Liora. I've seen him fight. He doesn't just win, he destroys. He makes examples. Cade's amber eyes are haunted. 5 years ago, a young wolf named Derek challenged him over a territory dispute. The fight lasted 4 minutes. Dane tore him apart so completely they couldn't even give him a proper burial. The image makes Leora's stomach turn. Why are you telling me this? Because you need to know what you're facing. No illusions, no false hope. Cade leans forward. But you also need to know this, Derek was a good fighter. He just fought Dane the way everyone fights Dane. With strength against strength, aggression against aggression. That's not your game. Then what is? Survival. Cunning. Using every advantage you have. He counts on his fingers. You're faster than him. More agile. Your wolf is bigger, which means longer reach. And you have something he doesn't expect. What? Nothing to lose. The words settle over her like a blanket. He's right. Dane has a pack, a reputation, a legacy to protect. Liora has already lost everything. That makes her dangerous in ways he can't anticipate. Before she can respond, voices echo from outside the cave. Liora and Cade are on their feet instantly, weapons ready. But the scent that reaches them is familiar. Marcus Ironwood steps through the waterfall, soaked and breathing hard. Behind him are Kira, Thomas, and 3 other Shadowpine wolves Liora recognizes, the ones who stood for her at the ceremony. Marcus? Leora's voice is disbelieving. What are you doing here? The big beta looks exhausted, his clothes torn, a fresh cut across his cheek. We left. After the council meeting, word got back to Shadowpine about what really happened to your grandmother. About the curse. About everything Dane did. He shakes his head. The pack is splitting, Liora. Some still support Dane out of fear or loyalty. But others, we couldn't stay. Not under his leadership. Not anymore. Kira steps forward, her eyes fierce despite the fear Liora can smell on her. We came to help. However we can. Help? Leora's throat tightens. You'll be branded rogues for this. Exiled. Hunted. Better rogue than complicit, Thomas says firmly. The old wolf's voice doesn't waver. Your grandmother tried to build something better. We failed her then. We won't fail you now. Liora looks at their faces, determined, frightened, brave. 7 wolves who gave up everything to stand with her. Family, Nyx whispers. This is what real pack feels like. Thank you, Liora manages, her voice thick with emotion. But I can't let you fight this battle. The challenge is between Dane and me alone. Pack law. Pack law also says an alpha can have seconds, Marcus interrupts. Wolves who defend their champion if outside interference occurs. We're claiming that right. Cade grins. Well, this just got more interesting. For the next 2 days, they train. Marcus teaches Liora dirty tricks, where to bite to disable quickly, how to use an opponent's momentum against them, pressure points even wolves have. Kira shows her defensive maneuvers, how to protect her throat and belly. Thomas, despite his age, demonstrates endurance techniques that keep a wolf fighting long after exhaustion should have claimed them. And Cade teaches her to be ruthless. Dane will expect you to fight with honor, he says, circling her in the clearing they've claimed as training ground. Honor gets you killed. Fight to win, not to impress. They spar until Leora's muscles scream. Until she can barely stand. Until shifting becomes as natural as breathing. But it's still not enough. The night before the challenge, as the others sleep, Liora slips away from camp. She needs air. Space. Time to process the overwhelming fear threatening to drown her. She finds herself at the edge of a cliff, staring out at the moonlit forest. Somewhere out there is Shadowpine. Home, even though it never treated her as such. Running away already? Liora spins. Cade stands behind her, arms crossed, expression unreadable. No. Just thinking. About how you're going to die tomorrow? The bluntness should anger her. Instead, it breaks something open in her chest. Yes, she whispers. Cade, I'm terrified. I've learned so much, but it's not enough. Dane is going to kill me, and everyone who believed in me is going to watch it happen. Cade crosses to her, grabs her shoulders. Listen to me. You're right. You probably can't beat Dane in a straight fight. He's too experienced, too skilled. His amber eyes bore into hers. But you don't need to beat him that way. You need to break him. How? By taking away what he values most, his image. His power. His control. Cade's grip tightens. Dane isn't just fighting you tomorrow. He's fighting to prove he's still the strongest, still the rightful alpha, still worthy of fear and respect. That's his weakness. His ego. So I what? Mock him during the fight? That seems. You make him lose control. You make him sloppy. Angry wolves make mistakes. Cade releases her, steps back. And there's something else. Something I haven't told you. Leora's stomach clenches. What? The binding curse on your bloodline? I've been researching it. Asking certain contacts who know dark magic. He pulls a tattered book from his pack. The curse was designed to suppress Ashwood wolves. But suppression isn't destruction. It's compression. All that power, all that potential, locked away for generations. And when you broke the curse, all of it flooded into you at once. You're not just carrying your own wolf's power, Liora. You're carrying the accumulated strength of every Ashwood who should have shifted but couldn't. Your mother. Your aunts. Generations of suppressed wolves. His eyes gleam. You're not just powerful. You're a reservoir of power that's been building for 23 years. The revelation steals Leora's breath. Why didn't you tell me this before? Because you needed to learn control first. Raw power without discipline is useless. Cade's expression softens. But tomorrow, when you're in that circle, when everything seems lost, remember what you carry. Remember who you fight for. And let it out. Liora looks down at her hands. She can feel it now, that he's named it, a well of strength deeper than she understood, ancient and waiting. What if I can't control it? Then Dane dies, and you become something new. Cade shrugs. Either way, he loses. They stand in silence, the moon climbing higher. Finally, Liora speaks. If I don't make it tomorrow. Don't. Cade, please. If I don't make it, promise me you'll protect them. Marcus, Kira, the others. They gave up everything for me. Cade's jaw clenches. For a long moment, he doesn't respond. Then, you're going to make it. Because you're Alara's granddaughter, and Ashwoods don't quit. He meets her eyes. But if the worst happens, yes. I promise. Liora nods. It's not enough, but it's something. As they walk back to camp, movement in the trees catches Leora's eye. A figure, watching from the shadows. Her wolf surges forward, senses on high alert. Who's there? The figure steps into moonlight, and Leora's breath catches. It's a woman, ancient and ethereal, her eyes pure silver like moonlight given form. Power radiates from her in waves that make even Nyx whimper. Peace, daughter of Alara, the woman says, her voice like wine through leaves. I am Moira, but not the Moira you know. That one carries my name, but I am the original. The first priestess of the moon goddess, bound to these lands to witness and guide. The goddess. Liora falls to her knees without thinking. Rise, child. I have little time. The veil between worlds grows thin only at the dark moon, and dawn approaches. The ancient Moira glides closer. I watched your grandmother fall. I watched your bloodline suffer. I was bound by sacred law not to interfere. But tomorrow, when you face the usurper, know this, you do not fight alone. Your grandmother's spirit, your mother's love, the strength of every Ashwood who came before, they are with you. She touches Leora's forehead, and light explodes behind her eyes. Visions flood through her, Alara, magnificent and fierce, standing before the united packs. Her mother, young and laughing before the curse broke her. Ancestors stretching back through time, warriors and healers, leaders and dreamers. All of them, flowing into her. Part of her. Strengthening her. When the light fades, the ancient Moira is gone. But Liora feels different. Complete. Like pieces of herself she never knew were missing have suddenly clicked into place. What just happened? Cade breathes. I got my answer, Liora says, her voice steady for the first time in days. Tomorrow, Dane Thornridge learns what happens when you try to erase a bloodline chosen by the goddess herself. She turns toward camp, toward her makeshift pack, toward her destiny. Let's go home. We have an alpha to overthrow. The challenge grounds are exactly as Liora imagined, a circular clearing carved into the heart of Shadowpine territory, surrounded by ancient stones marked with runes older than memory. Hundreds of wolves gather around the perimeter, their bodies packed tight, their eyes hungry for blood and spectacle. This is where alphas are made. And unmade. Liora stands at the eastern edge of the circle, her small group of supporters behind her. Marcus, Kira, Thomas, and the others form a protective wall, their faces grim but determined. Cade stands closest, his hand briefly touching her shoulder in silent encouragement. Remember, he whispers. Break his control. Make him sloppy. Liora nods, her throat too tight for words. Across the circle, Dane waits with his own supporters, Sarah, draped in expensive furs, looking smug and certain. His beta, a vicious wolf named Garrett who Liora recognizes from the hunting party. And behind them, at least 50 Shadowpine wolves who still believe in Dane's strength, who see Liora as nothing more than an upstart Omega. The 4 visiting alphas occupy raised platforms around the circle, Reese, Mira, Kian, and Magnus. Neutral observers, here to witness and validate the outcome. Elder Moira, the pack's Moira, stands at the circle's center. She looks ancient and tired, her eyes filled with complicated emotions as she looks at Liora. By the laws of our ancestors, by the will of the moon goddess, we gather to witness challenge combat, she announces, her voice carrying across the clearing. Liora Ashwood of the Ashwood bloodline challenges Dane Thornridge for leadership of the Shadowpine pack. The combat is to submission or death. No interference will be tolerated. The goddess will judge the worthy. Moira's eyes linger on Liora for just a moment, and in them, Liora sees something that might be apology. Or hope. Combatants, shift and enter the circle. Leora's heart hammers. This is it. No more preparation. No more planning. Just her and Dane and the truth that will be written in blood. She shifts. The transformation flows through her like water now, natural and powerful. Her massive black wolf emerges, silver streaks gleaming in the morning sun, gold eyes burning with ancient fire. She's beautiful and terrifying, and the crowd's murmur reflects their awe. But Dane's shift silences them completely. His wolf is enormous, easily the size of a small bear, his fur dark brown with black points. Scars crisscross his body, trophies from countless battles. His eyes are cold gray, calculating and cruel. And when he snarls, the sound promises violence. He's killed before. Many times. We can do this, Nyx growls, but even she sounds uncertain. We must. Liora thinks of the ancient Moira's touch, the power flowing through her bloodline. She thinks of her mother's worn hands, her grandmother's stolen dream. She thinks of every time someone called her worthless. And she steps into the circle. Dane circles her immediately, his movements predatory and confident. He's done this dance before. Knows exactly how to read an opponent, how to exploit weakness. Liora keeps her stance defensive, watching, waiting. Cade's voice echoes in her mind, don't engage first. Let him show you his pattern. Dane lunges without warning. His speed is shocking for his size. He goes straight for her throat, jaws wide, a killing strike designed to end this in seconds. But Liora isn't there. She drops and rolls, her smaller frame allowing agility his bulk can't match. His jaws snap shut on empty air, and she's already moving, circling to his flank. She doesn't attack. Not yet. Just positions herself, forces him to readjust. Confusion flickers in Dane's eyes. He expected her to be defensive, yes, but also reckless, emotional, easy to bait. He lunges again, this time feinting left before pivoting right. It's a move that's probably worked 100 times before. Liora sees through it. She darts forward instead of back, closing distance rather than creating it. The move surprises him enough that his attack goes wide, and her shoulder slams into his chest. Not hard enough to hurt, but enough to prove a point. I'm not Derek. I'm not prey. I'm something you've never fought before. Dane's snarl becomes frustrated. He attacks again, more aggressively now, abandoning technique for raw power. Bite, claw, shoulder slam, each strike meant to crush. Liora gives ground, lets him push her back toward the circle's edge. The crowd roars, sensing blood, assuming she's losing. But she's counting. Watching. Learning his rhythm. Left shoulder drops before he lunges. Right paw shifts when he's about to pivot. He favors his left side for power strikes. Every pattern, every tell, catalogued and stored. When Dane rushes her again, confident now that he has her cornered, Liora doesn't retreat. She attacks. Her jaws close on his left foreleg, right where Marcus showed her, the pressure point that sends lightning through nerves. Dane howls in pain and shock, tries to shake her off, but she holds tight for 3 seconds before releasing and dancing away. Blood stains his fur. First blood. Hers. The crowd goes silent. Dane stares at his leg, at the wound, at her. And in his eyes, for the first time, there's uncertainty. Good, Nyx purrs. Now he knows we have teeth. Is that all you have, Dane? Liora doesn't speak aloud, but her body language screams the challenge. She paces, confident now, letting him see that she's not even winded while he's breathing hard. Pride and rage war in Dane's expression. Then rage wins. He charges, abandoning all strategy, all technique. Just raw alpha fury meant to overwhelm and destroy. It's exactly what Liora has been waiting for. She meets his charge head-on, but at the last second drops low. His momentum carries him over her, and she surges up with all her strength, her larger size finally coming into play. Dane flips, crashes hard on his back, the impact driving air from his lungs. Before he can recover, Liora is on him, jaws at his throat. Not biting. Not yet. Just, there. The circle holds its breath. She could end it now. One bite. Justice for everything he's done. But Nyx whispers, not yet. Break him first. Make him submit. Liora releases his throat, steps back. Gives him a chance to stand. The mercy confuses him. Humiliates him. In his world, you don't show mercy to a downed opponent. You finish them. Dane scrambles to his feet, his eyes wild now. You think you're better than me? His mental voice snarls through the pack bond. You're nothing. A worthless Omega playing dress-up. I'm the granddaughter of Alara Ashwood, Liora's voice rings clear. The wolf you tried to erase. The power you tried to bury. And I'm the future you're too blind to see. She shifts to human form, standing in the circle, vulnerable and defiant. The crowd gasps. Shifting mid-combat is risky, dangerous, borderline suicidal. But Liora isn't fighting just with teeth and claws anymore. You killed my grandmother because she threatened your power, Liora says, her voice carrying to every wolf present. You cursed my family because you feared what we represented. You rejected me, humiliated me, tried to break me. Her eyes blaze gold. But you failed, Dane. Because real strength isn't about domination. It's about rising after you've been broken. It's about protecting instead of controlling. It's about being worthy of the trust others place in you. She shifts back to wolf, and this time, the power that floods through her is immense. The accumulated strength of generations flows into her limbs, her jaw, her heart. She grows larger, her silver markings blazing like starlight, her eyes burning with divine fire. This is what the ancient Moira showed her, not just her wolf, but the combined might of every Ashwood who should have been. The crowd stumbles back from the circle's edge, fear and awe mixing in their sense. Even the alphas on their platforms lean forward, their expressions shocked. And Dane, still in wolf form, takes a step backward. He sees it now. What he's really facing. Not an Omega. Not even just a powerful wolf. A reckoning. Last chance, Liora's mental voice is calm, certain. Submit. Step down. Let Shadowpine heal. For a moment, just a heartbeat, she thinks he might. Thinks she sees reason flicker in his eyes. Then his pride surges back. Never. He lunges one final time, putting everything into the attack, all his strength, all his skill, all his desperation. Liora meets him in the center of the circle. And this time, when they collide, there's no question of the outcome. Her jaw's close on his shoulder. Her weight bears him down. Her power, the power of generations, floods through every movement. Dane struggles, fights, tries every trick he knows. But Liora doesn't let go. Seconds stretch into eternity. Dane's struggles grow weaker. His growls become whimpers. And finally, he goes still. I submit, his mental voice whispers, broken and defeated. Please. I submit. Liora holds for one more second, making sure every wolf present witnesses this moment. Then she releases him and steps back. Elder Moira's voice rings out, shaking with emotion, the challenge is complete. The goddess has spoken. Liora Ashwood is victorious. The clearing erupts. Some wolves howl in celebration. Others in shock. A few in rage. But it doesn't matter. Because when Liora shifts back to human, standing tall in the center of the circle, blood on her lips and victory in her eyes, even her detractors can't deny what she's become. Alpha. Marcus is the first to approach, dropping to one knee. Alpha Liora. Then Kira. Then Thomas. One by one, her small group of supporters kneels. And slowly, hesitantly, other Shadowpine wolves follow. Not all of them. Not even most. But enough. Enough to be a beginning. Liora looks at Dane, still in wolf form, broken and bleeding. She feels no triumph. Only exhaustion and relief and the weight of what comes next. You're banished from Shadowpine, she says quietly. You can take whoever wishes to follow you. But your time here is over. Dane shifts to human, naked and defeated. He looks at her with pure hatred. This isn't over, Ashwood. You think you've won? You've just painted a target on your back. Every alpha who fears change will come for you now. Let them come. Liora's voice doesn't waver. I'm not my grandmother. I won't face them alone. She turns to the 4 watching alphas. I claim alpha rights to Shadowpine Pack. Does anyone challenge? Reese stands, a slow smile crossing his face. No challenge. Welcome to leadership, Alpha Ashwood. May you prove worthier than your predecessor. Mira, Kian, and Magnus nod their agreement. It's done. Liora Ashwood, the Omega who was rejected and humiliated, is now Alpha of Shadowpine. And as the reality settles over her, as her new pack, fractured and uncertain, looks to her for guidance, Liora realizes something. This is just the beginning. 3 hours after her victory, Liora stands in what used to be Dane's private chambers in the pack house, a sprawling stone building at Shadowpine's heart. The room is opulent, dark wood furniture, expensive rugs, trophies from successful hunts mounted on walls. Everything speaks of power and dominance. It makes her skin crawl. "We should burn half this stuff," Cade mutters, examining a particularly gruesome bear skull. "Start fresh." Agreed. Liora moves to the window overlooking the central courtyard. Below, the pack is in chaos. Wolves arguing, some packing to leave with Dane, others demanding immediate changes, still others watching with wary uncertainty. Her pack now. Her responsibility. The weight of it threatens to crush her. A knock at the door. Marcus enters, his expression grim. "Alpha, we have a situation." "Of course they do. Tell me." Sarah Blackwood has barricaded herself in the Luna's quarters with about 15 supporters. She's claiming that as Dane's chosen mate, she has rights to remain in a position of authority. Marcus's lip curls with disgust. "She's demanding a seat on your council." Liora closes her eyes. She should have anticipated this. Sarah isn't just going to fade quietly into the background. "I'll handle it." "Alpha, she's dangerous. Political, manipulative. She'll undermine you at every turn." "I know." Liora heads for the door. "Which is why I need to deal with her now, before she gains more support." The Luna's quarters are on the opposite side of the pack house, through corridors Liora has only seen while scrubbing floors. Now she walks them as Alpha, and the difference is surreal. Wolves press against walls as she passes, some bowing their heads in respect, others glaring with barely concealed resentment. Change doesn't come easy. Especially not change this dramatic. At the Luna's quarters, 2 large wolves block the door. They tense as Liora approaches, clearly uncertain whether to challenge their new Alpha. "Stand aside," Liora says calmly. They hesitate. Then, slowly, they move. Liora pushes open the door. The room beyond is beautiful, soft fabrics, gentle lighting, everything designed for comfort and elegance. Sarah sits in the center like a queen on a throne, surrounded by her supporters, mostly young females from wealthy families. Well, Sarah says, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "The new Alpha graces us with her presence. Tell me, Liora, does power fit you yet? Or does it still feel like wearing someone else's clothes?" The barb is designed to sting, to remind everyone present of Liora's Omega origins. "Power isn't clothing, Sarah. It's responsibility. Something you've never understood." Liora steps fully into the room. "You have 1 hour to pack your belongings and leave Shadowpine territory." Gasps from Sarah's supporters. Sarah's perfect face twists with rage. "You can't banish me. I've done nothing wrong. You supported a corrupt Alpha. You participated in my public humiliation. You laughed while Dane tore me apart." Liora's voice stays level. "But that's not why I'm banishing you. I'm banishing you because you represent everything Shadowpine needs to move past: cruelty disguised as strength, status bought through manipulation, power without compassion. I am the rightful Luna." Sarah shrieks, abandoning pretense. "Dane chose me. The pack accepted me. Dane is gone. And you were never Luna, just a political arrangement designed to consolidate power." Liora meets the eyes of each wolf in the room. "Anyone who wishes to leave with Sarah is free to go. I won't force anyone to stay who doesn't want to be here." Silence. The young women exchange glances, uncertainty flickering across their faces. Then one stands. Then another. Within moments, all but 3 of Sarah's supporters have crossed the room to stand behind Liora. Sarah's face goes white. "Traitors. All of you." "Not traitors," one of the young women, a wolf named Isla, says quietly. "Just tired of being afraid. Tired of cruelty being rewarded while kindness was punished." The defection breaks something in Sarah. She lunges at Liora, shifting mid-leap, her smaller golden wolf form snarling with rage and humiliation. Liora doesn't even shift. She simply sidesteps, using Sarah's momentum against her, and the golden wolf crashes into the wall. Before Sarah can recover, Liora has shifted and pinned her, jaws at her throat. I could kill you for attacking your alpha, Leora's mental voice is ice. But I won't. Because I'm not Dane. I don't rule through fear and violence. She releases Sarah, steps back. You have 1 hour. Don't make me reduce that to 30 minutes. Sarah shifts back, tears of rage and shame streaming down her face. But she knows she's lost. Knows that without supporters, without Dane, she's nothing. She grabs a bag and flees. The 3 wolves who stayed loyal to her follow, their heads down. And just like that, the first challenge to Leora's authority is over. But she knows there will be more. Many more. Over the next 2 days, Liora works tirelessly to establish order. She meets with pack members individually and in groups. She listens to grievances, some legitimate, some petty, all needing attention. She forms a council, Marcus as beta, Kira as head of pack security, Thomas as elder advisor, and surprisingly, Elder Moira, who asks to remain in her role. I failed your grandmother, the old woman says, her voice heavy with decades of regret. Let me spend my remaining years helping you succeed where she couldn't. Liora accepts. Cade, when offered a position, refuses. I'm not pack material, Ashwood. But I'll stay nearby. Someone needs to watch your back from the shadows. It's more than she expected from the rogue, and she's grateful. But even as order begins to emerge from chaos, tension builds. Because Dane didn't leave quietly. Reports come in from border patrols. Dane has gathered his loyalists, about 40 wolves, and they've made camp just beyond Shadowpine territory. He's reaching out to other packs, trying to build support, claiming Leora's victory was illegitimate. He's planning something, Marcus warns during a council meeting. Dane doesn't accept defeat. He'll strike back. Let him try, Kira says fiercely. We beat him once. In single combat, with rules and witnesses, Thomas counters. If he attacks with 40 wolves in the middle of the night, rules won't matter. Liora knows they're right. Dane is wounded pride and rage given form. He won't rest until he's reclaimed what he considers his. The attack comes on the 3rd night. Liora is in her chambers, reviewing territory maps, when hells of alarm shred the darkness. She's shifted and out the window before conscious thought, racing toward the northern border where the noise originates. Chaos greets her. Dane's forces have breached the border, 40 wolves attacking simultaneously, targeting the weakest points in Shadowpine's defenses. Fires burn where they've torched supply storage. Wolves fight in scattered skirmishes, Shadowpine defenders struggling against the coordinated assault. And in the center of it all, Dane in his massive wolf form, directing his forces like a general. He's trying to prove I'm weak, Liora realizes. That I can't protect the pack. If he wins tonight, even my supporters will doubt me. She can't let that happen. Liora throws back her head and howls, the alpha's call, commanding and undeniable. Every Shadowpine wolf within hearing range responds instantly, their own howls creating a symphony of loyalty and strength. They rally to her, forming defensive positions, turning scattered resistance into organized defense. Dane sees her across the battlefield. Their eyes lock. And he charges. But this time, he's not alone. 3 of his largest supporters flank him, Garrett and 2 others Liora doesn't recognize. They're coming straight for her, a killing formation designed to overwhelm through numbers. Leora's pack surges forward to intercept, but she stops them with a mental command. Hold position. Protect the pack house and the vulnerable. This is my fight. You can't take 4 experienced fighters alone. Marcus's mental voice is frantic. Watch me. The power she felt during the challenge floods through her again, generations of Ashwood strength, ancient and fierce. But this time, she channels it differently. Not into size or physical might, but into speed, precision, tactical awareness. She becomes a silver-streaked shadow. Dane's formation hits empty air as she darts left. Before they can adjust, she's struck, jaws closing on Garrett's hind leg, crippling but not killing. He goes down with a yelp. 3 left. The 2 unknown wolves hesitate, their confidence shaken. Liora uses that hesitation, surging between them, forcing them to choose between holding formation or avoiding collision. They scatter. That leaves Dane. He launches himself at her with everything he has, hate and desperation and the fury of a dethroned king. This time there are no rules, no witnesses demanding honor, no circle to contain them. Just two wolves and the truth that only one walks away. They collide in a storm of teeth and claws. Dane fights with the experience of a lifetime, every move calculated to maim and destroy. He's faster than in the challenge, more vicious, unburdened by the need to look honorable. But Liora isn't the same wolf she was 3 days ago either. She's fought. She's led. She's felt the weight of a pack's hopes and fears on her shoulders. And she's realized something crucial: she's not trying to prove she deserves to be Alpha. She already is Alpha. The certainty settles into her bones like bedrock. No more doubt. No more fear. Just absolute conviction in who she is and what she's fighting for. When Dane lunges for her throat, she doesn't dodge. She catches his attack, jaws closing around his foreleg, and she doesn't let go. Her enhanced strength, the power of her bloodline, channels into that single grip. Bone cracks. Dane's howl of agony pierces the night. Liora releases him, and he collapses, his foreleg useless. Around them, the fighting has stopped. Both sides watch, frozen, as their leaders face each other in the moonlight. "It's over, Dane," Liora says, shifting to human. Her voice carries across the sudden silence. "You've lost. Not just the challenge, not just your position, but your claim to righteousness. Everyone here sees what you truly are, a bully who can't accept that power built on fear crumbles eventually." Dane shifts too, cradling his broken arm. His face is twisted with pain and hate. "You think this changes anything? You think being Alpha makes you special? You're still that worthless Omega underneath. Still the girl who scrubbed my floors. Still nothing." The words should hurt. Once, they would have destroyed her. Now? They're just noise from a broken man. "You're right about one thing," Liora says calmly. "I was that girl. I know what it feels like to be powerless, to be dismissed, to have people treat you like you're less than nothing." She looks at the gathered wolves, her pack and Dane's followers. "And that's exactly why I'll be a better Alpha than you ever were. Because I understand that true strength comes from lifting others up, not crushing them down. From creating community, not fear. From earning loyalty instead of demanding it." She turns to Dane's 40 followers. "You're all welcome to return to Shadowpine. No punishment, no retribution. We need every wolf to rebuild what was broken. But if you choose to stay with Dane, to continue this path of violence and destruction, you'll be declared rogues. Hunted by every pack in the region. The choice is clear. The outcome inevitable." One by one, Dane's followers lower their heads in submission. Some look relieved. Others ashamed. But all of them choose survival over loyalty to a fallen tyrant. Within minutes, Dane stands alone. "Take him to the border," Liora commands. "Give him supplies for 3 days' travel. Then make it clear, if he ever sets foot in Shadowpine territory again, the mercy ends." Marcus and 2 others drag Dane away. He doesn't fight, doesn't argue. The defeat in his eyes is absolute. As the chaos of the raid settles into cleanup and healing, Kate appears at Leora's side. "That was either brilliant or insane. Can it be both?" He laughs. "With you? Always." He sobers. "You know this won't be the end, right? Other challenges will come. Probably worse than Dane." "I know." Liora looks at her pack, battered but unbroken, gathering together to tend wounds and rebuild what was damaged. "But we'll face them together. As a real pack. As family." Cade nods slowly. "Yeah. I think you might actually pull this off, Ashwood." As dawn breaks over Shadowpine, painting the forest in shades of gold and amber, Liora allows herself a moment to breathe. To feel the enormity of what's happened. She's not just survived. She's transformed. From rejected Omega to Alpha. From victim to protector. From broken to whole. And this is only the beginning. 6 weeks later, Shadowpine is transforming. Liora walks through the pack grounds in the early morning light, watching wolves work together to rebuild what was damaged during Dane's attack. But they're not just rebuilding, they're reimagining. The Omega quarters, where Liora spent most of her life, are being expanded and renovated. No longer will lower-ranked wolves live in cramped, cold spaces while alphas and betas enjoy luxury. Every wolf deserves dignity, comfort, safety. The training grounds have been open to all ages and ranks. Young pups train alongside seasoned warriors, learning not just to fight, but to protect, to serve, to lead with honor. And the pack house itself is being restructured. The ostentatious displays of dominance are gone, replaced with gathering spaces designed for community, for connection, for actual pack bonding. It's not perfect. Change never is. There are still wolves who resent her leadership, who mutter about tradition and proper hierarchy. There are still challenges to her authority, though none have escalated to violence since Dane's banishment. But slowly, steadily, Shadowpine is healing. Alpha. Kira jogs up, slightly out of breath. The delegates from the Northern Territory just arrived. Alpha Reese and his beta are waiting in the meeting hall. Liora nods. Thank you. Tell them I'll be there shortly. This is the part of leadership she never anticipated, politics. Meetings with other alphas, negotiations over territory boundaries, trade agreements, alliance discussions. It's exhausting and necessary and sometimes infuriating. But it's also an opportunity. An opportunity to fulfill her grandmother's dream, unity among the packs, cooperation instead of constant territorial conflict, actual lasting peace. She enters the meeting hall to find Reese Blackthorn examining the new murals on the walls, paintings depicting Shadowpine's true history, including Alara Ashwood's leadership and the betrayal that followed. Alpha Liora, Reese greets her with genuine warmth. Your pack is thriving. I'm impressed. Thank you. Though I think thriving might be generous. We're surviving, adapting, learning. Liora gestures to seats around a circular table, deliberately chosen to replace Dane's hierarchical setup. What brings you to Shadowpine? Reese settles into a chair, his expression becoming serious. A proposal. You've heard about the tensions between the Eastern and Western territories? Liora nods. Mira and Magnus have been engaged in an escalating dispute over hunting rights for months. I believe you could mediate, Reese continues. Both alphas respect what you've accomplished here. More importantly, they respect that you understand what it means to fight for survival, to rebuild from nothing. He leans forward. Your grandmother tried to unite the packs through diplomacy. She was killed for it. But the need for unity hasn't disappeared, Liora. If anything, it's more urgent now. The weight of his words settles over her. You're asking me to finish what she started. I'm asking you to consider it. You have a unique position, new enough that you're not entrenched in old grudges, but proven enough that you command respect. Reese's pale eyes gleam with something like hope. The packs are watching you, Liora. Wondering if real change is possible. Show them it is. Before Liora can respond, Marcus bursts through the door, his face flushed with excitement. Alpha, you need to come outside. Now. The urgency in his voice has both Liora and Reese on their feet immediately. Outside, the entire pack has gathered in the central courtyard, their faces turned skyward. Liora follows their gazes and her breath catches. The sky is alive with dancing lights, aurora borealis, shimmering curtains of green and gold and silver, far more south than they should ever appear. They pulse and swirl in patterns that seem almost deliberate, almost like writing. Elder Moira stands at the courtyard's center, tears streaming down her weathered face. The goddess, she whispers. She's speaking. Blessing the new alpha. I've only seen this once before, when Alara first took leadership. The lights intensify, and for just a moment, Liora swears she sees a shape in them, a massive wolf, silver and radiant, looking down at Shadowpine with approval. Her grandmother. It has to be. The vision fades, but the lights continue their dance for several more minutes before slowly dissipating, leaving the morning sky clear and bright. The pack is silent, awed. Then, spontaneously, they begin to howl, a chorus of voices raised in celebration, in gratitude, in acceptance. Even the wolves who resented her leadership join in. Because this is bigger than politics or tradition or wounded pride. This is divine recognition. Liora shifts and adds her voice to the chorus, her howl ringing clear and strong across Shadowpine territory. Thank you, she thinks, sending the words to her grandmother's spirit, to the goddess, to whatever force brought her to this moment. I won't waste this chance. I promise. Later that afternoon, after Reese has departed with Leora's agreement to attempt mediation, she finds herself back at the ceremonial grounds where everything began. The white dress she wore that night is long gone, destroyed during her first shift. But the memory of standing here, rejected and humiliated, remains vivid. So much has changed in just 2 months. Footsteps behind her. She doesn't need to look to know who it is. Thought I'd find you here, Cade says, settling beside her on one of the ancient stones. Getting nostalgic? Reflective, Liora corrects. I keep thinking about that night. How completely my world shattered. Best thing that ever happened to you. She laughs despite herself. You have a twisted definition of best. Do I? Cade's amber eyes are serious now. That night, you were trapped in a life built on lies, suffering under a corrupt system, convinced you were worthless. Now you're Alpha, changing that system, proving your worth every day. Yeah, it was painful. But it freed you. He's not wrong. What about you? Liora asks. You've been here 6 weeks. I thought rogues didn't stay in one place. They don't usually. Cade looks away, uncomfortable with the vulnerability showing in his expression. But I've never been part of something that mattered before. What you're building here, Liora, it's what the pack should have been all along. I want to see it succeed. Does that mean you'll accept the position I offered? Head of External Relations, liaison to the other packs? You're persistent, I'll give you that. Cade grins. Fine. Yes. But I'm keeping my rogue attitude. Some traditions are worth maintaining. I wouldn't have it any other way. They sit in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Cade speaks again, his voice softer. You know he's still out there, right? Dane. Reports say he's been seen near the unclaimed lands, bitter and broken but alive. I know. Liora has thought about this often. Part of me wonders if I should have ended it permanently. If letting him live was weakness. It wasn't weakness. It was wisdom. Cade meets her eyes. You could have killed him and proven you're just as brutal as he was. Instead, you showed mercy and proved you're different. Better. That message matters, Liora. More than you might realize. Movement at the clearing's edge, Marcus and Kira approaching together, deep in conversation. They're smiling, and Liora realizes with a start that they're holding hands. When did that happen? They notice her watching and Marcus has the grace to look slightly embarrassed. Alpha, that is, are together, Kira finishes firmly, daring anyone to object. If that's a problem. The only problem is that you didn't tell me sooner so I could celebrate with you. Liora grins. Happiness is in short supply. I'm glad you found it. The relief on their faces is palpable. This, Liora thinks, is what real pack looks like. Not rigid hierarchies and fear-based control, but genuine relationships, support, joy. Over the following weeks, Liora successfully mediates the dispute between Mira and Magnus, earning gratitude from both alphas and establishing herself as a voice of reason among the territories. She begins regular councils with all 5 alphas, slowly building the framework for her grandmother's vision: cooperation, shared resources, unified response to external threats. It's slow work. Some alphas resist. Old grudges run deep. But progress happens. Trade agreements are signed. Territorial boundaries are clarified peacefully. Joint training exercises begin, building trust between packs that were enemies for generations. And Shadowpine continues to transform. The Omega designation is abolished entirely. Wolves are ranked by skill and contribution, not birth or politics. The Pack Council includes voices from all levels, ensuring everyone has representation. Young wolves who would have been dismissed under Dane's leadership are given opportunities to prove themselves. Healers, scholars, artisans, all valued equally with warriors. It's the Pack Alara dreamed of creating. The Pack Leora's mother wished she could have lived to see. 6 months after taking leadership, Liora stands before the gathered pack for the winter solstice celebration. It's the first major ceremony under her rule, and every wolf in Shadowpine has come. including some who left during the initial chaos but have asked to return, humbled and hopeful. 6 months ago, Liora begins, her voice carrying across the crowd, this pack was broken. Built on lies, ruled by fear, divided against itself. Some of you hated me when I became Alpha. Some still do. A few uncomfortable shifts in the crowd, but no one denies it. I don't blame you. Change is frightening. I'm frightened sometimes too. She smiles. But look at what we've built together. Look at what we've become. We're not just surviving anymore. We're thriving. We're showing other packs that there's a better way. She pauses, letting her gaze sweep across faces she's come to know, warriors and healers, elders and pups, wolves of every rank and background. Her pack. Her family. My grandmother believed the packs could unite in peace and prosperity. She died for that belief. I won't let her dream die with her. Liora's voice strengthens. Shadowpine will be the example. The proof that cooperation is stronger than conflict, that compassion is braver than cruelty, that real leadership means serving rather than dominating. She raises her voice to carry, we are Shadowpine. We rise from shadows into light. We turn pain into power. We transform rejection into redemption. And together, we will build a future worthy of the wolves who come after us. The pack erupts in howls of approval, the sound echoing across the territory and beyond, a declaration of unity and strength. As the celebration begins, music and laughter filling the night, Kate appears at Liora's elbow. Quite a speech, Alpha. Think it was too much? I think it was perfect. He hands her a cup of spiced cider. To new beginnings. Liora accepts the cup, touches it to his in a toast. To finishing what was started. To honoring those who came before. To building something that lasts. They drink, and Liora allows herself to feel the full weight of this moment, joy, pride, hope, and yes, still some fear. Because leadership is never easy, and challenges will continue to come. But she's not the broken Omega rejected at a ceremony anymore. She's Alpha Liora Ashwood, granddaughter of Alara, protector of Shadowpine, and architect of a new future for the packs. And when the next challenge comes, whatever form it takes, she'll face it the same way she's faced everything since that terrible, beautiful night when her world shattered and reformed. With courage. With compassion. With the strength of generations flowing through her veins. And with the absolute certainty that she is exactly where she's meant to be. The moon rises full and bright over Shadowpine, its silver light blessing the pack gathered below. And in that light, a massive black wolf with silver streaks runs through the forest, free and powerful and home at last. The rejected Omega became the Alpha who changed everything. And this is only the beginning of her story. Thank you so much for joining me on Liora's journey, beautiful souls. Wasn't that incredible? From rejection to redemption, from broken to powerful, from Omega to Alpha. If you loved this story, please give it a thumbs up, drop a comment telling me your favorite moment, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing shifter romance stories. Where are you watching from? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, remember, you are stronger than anyone who's ever underestimated you. Stay powerful, stay beautiful, and I'll see you in the next story.